Hi, class. Welcome back. Here are some anecdotes from week 8 to go along with the AI generated videos for this week. So, on the topic of environmental futures, I wanted to mention that I feel like there are many different ways that the future could go down. Right now, they mostly look pretty dark to me. Next week, we'll be talking about utopias and dystopias. And having studied the topic for the last 20 years, unfortunately, the dystopias appear to be more scientifically grounded and likely to occur than the utopias. But there is one vision that I'm excited about, and I'll tell you more about that next week. So this is sort of a teaser for next week. With regard to mitigation versus adaptation, one of the videos for this week, I would hope that in general, human civilizations can mitigate the environmental issues as much as we can, make them less bad. Unfortunately, though, climate change and other forms of environmental degradation seem like they are in fact happening. It is pretty clear there's scientific evidence that they are happening. And so unfortunately, human civilizations are needing to shift from mitigation to adaptation, figuring out how to cope with these changes that are becoming inevitable. With regard to another video on steady state and degrowth economics, I wish that these were viable strategies, but I'm concerned that there's a problem with degrowth and steady state. Ultimately, I'm concerned that nations that pursue these approaches will eventually be overrun by growth-based nations who run themselves into conditions of scarcity, but because they're bigger, they are then able to take their neighbor's stuff. And so I'm worried that degrowth and steady state nations won't necessarily be able to compete against growth-based nations, even though it's a better way for long-term well-being. So finally, one of the other videos is on the energy trap. And I feel like the energy trap makes a lot of sense to me and is both evidence for why it's better to take action now than later, and also, unfortunately, evidence for why civilizations probably won't take sufficient action in the present. So those are some anecdotes to go for week 8. We'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.